Hey, it's Bitty Penny. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm playing with gouache. I have been playing with this so much lately, you guys. I have like 2 journals going on and I can't put it down. It's definitely going to be a part of my card making and a way to color stamps going forward for me. So this was me just playing around. I'm very much a beginner. I've only used a little bit of gouache before. So what I'm doing now is I'm using my color wheel and I'm looking at these secondary colors and these mixes, and I'm trying to find a palette that I wanted to work with, and I landed on this one right where, oh yeah, we'll do that one. So I have a couple of dies that were new that you guys might have seen in my Clean With Me video that I hauled from the Not Too Shabby shop, and I really wanted to put them to use. So using this color wheel, I got my colors. It's just a 2-color mixture, and right now I'm putting water, just a few drops in so that I can blend these together and my palette will be ready to go. One thing that I've been playing with is making sure that I don't have too many colors as far as a palette that I play with at one time. So typically I'll have maybe 3 or 4 colors, and then I'll have maybe 2 neutrals, like a brown and a black or something like that. So here I'm making myself a little cheat sheet of the colors that I use to get this palette. And then I went in and put like a ratio so that I could duplicate this again if I wanted to. One thing about when you're mixing gouache, you have to mix more than you want because it's really hard to get the same mixture again. Okay, it's time to play. So I love army green. I love army green so much. It's just one of my favorite colors. I don't know why. I just really like an olive or moss or army green. So that had to be a part of this. I also like eggplant color. So I really had fun with this palette. And all I'm doing right now is playing. I don't have any plans. I don't know what I'm going to do other than use this gouache to make a bunch of backgrounds. So my paper right now that I'm using is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is my Spring Hill Digital 110 index paper. It is one of my favorite papers when I just want to play with a medium like this. It's not watercolor, it's not a mixed media paper, but I watercolor on it all the time, and it seems to hold gouache pretty well. Not doing like a really wet technique, but a dry technique, it can handle it. So here again, I'm just playing around, adding some stripes. So I used to do a lot of paintings. I did abstract art, and I mainly worked in acrylic and oil pastel. I haven't done it in many years, many years. But now that I've been drawing more and sketching more and getting my fingers wet, painting the joy is returning, and I just know that this is going to be something I'm exploring a lot more. So I hope you guys will join me because we're still card making. And you know, this channel is just about me sharing my journey with you guys and connecting with you guys and hopefully inspiring you guys along the way. And so I know that my content varies quite a bit and my interests vary. But I just, this is just about me sharing my creative journey. And my creative journey has a lot of spins in different avenues within it. So I hope you guys enjoy that about my channel and are up for this. I definitely recommend it. I mean, what I'm doing here is just playing. So I have this stamp that I love. It's from the Not Too Shabby shop, and it was one of the first stamps that Jamie ever released. This is the one stamp that comes in the stamp set, and I really, Crazy Paper Chick sent me a card made with this stamp one time, and I just loved it so much that I had to buy the stamp. And I've been wanting to play with this ever since I started fall crafting. So I just had to start coloring her up. Now, good thing I was using gouache here, because I gave this girl a real intense suntan. She's pretty orange, but that's okay. That's something you can correct with gouache. So gouache is so cool because it's very opaque, but you can water it down, and you can cover. So you can go from dark to light. So her face is really dark right now, and that's no problem. I can fix it. I can go in and put a lighter color on top of it. There's something so freeing about that, to where if you make a mistake, it's not really a big deal. Like, you can easily correct it. You can put, once your paint is dry, you can put any color on top of any color you want. And I really, really love that. But you guys know I love watercolor, and so it's a kindred connection to that as well. So I just colored this girl up. Now, I was keeping my palette pretty limited still at this point. I wasn't wanting to introduce too many colors, but since making this card, I've been doing more like gouache portraits and stuff. And definitely next time I'll mix a skin tone that's a little more realistic, or not so orange. But this totally works for this card today. Now I'm going in with a fine liner, and this is like a 03. So I find that this matches most stamp companies' lines very well. So you could put you could put any stamp in a stamp positioning tool, stamp it on your paper, color it with gouache, and then put it back in the stamp positioning tool and re-stamp it again. But I just chose to go over any lines that I needed to. I'm going to have another video out for y'all showing you more ways to color your stamped images, because I've been playing with it in my sketchbook. Okay, so yeah, see what I'm saying? Like, you can have a dark background like this and go over it with white. Now I'm dragging my brush back through because I want to actually pull up some of that paint from behind, that purple, that green, and that orange, and I really wanted to just blend it a little bit. So gouache is not permanent like acrylic. You can't get acrylic gouache, which is permanent, but a traditional gouache is kind of like a watercolor where it can reactivate. So what I'm showing you here is actually a blending technique, and I will be pulling a little bit of that purple back up. The heavier you lay down your color, the easier it is to pull it back up. Now, you never want it to be so heavy because gouache can crack, like if you just go ultra thick. But when you're, so there's so much to tell you. So there's a way to lay down the gouache if you want your image kind of backlit, or you can do it like this to where you can even pull a little of it up. So now I'm going in and adding this really beautiful phthalo color and a little bit of the white, pulling up a little bit of that olive that was originally down there, and I'm just working it and blending it. And I'm going to make this a scene card. Okay, my cards are kind of, usually when you're watching a card video, someone starts a card and they finish the card and they move to the next card. Well, when you're working with paint, you've got to let things dry. So this is going to be unconventional, my friends. This was just a regular book page that I tore out. And I'm just hand sketching in a vase with a flower. And I didn't love my flower at all. I have a long way to go, you guys, when it comes to getting back in the groove with like my memory bank of painting moves. But I was just kind of sketching that on there and then painting this vase. Now this vase was kind of inspired. You guys know this, I don't know what style it's called, but like the vases that are like crystal, and some of them are just glass, but they have like mixtures of color all through them. We were at the at-home store looking for Halloween decorations like a month ago, and I just saw a bunch of that glass, and I knew I wanted to recreate it, and I didn't give it justice here, but that's what I was kind of going for, is the ones that have lines of different color in them. So I just threw a couple of leaves on here, and then I just put that to the side to dry. So I knew I would need to revisit it, but I wanted to let the ink dry. So this was one of the abstract pieces, and I'm just adding a few lines of color and keeping it super simple. Here's another one of the book pages that I played with. Here are some of my backgrounds. And I really want to work with this one first. So I fussy cut out my girl. And now I'm doing a famous Bob Ross move where you think you're almost done with a painting. Not that this really counts as a painting, but and then at the end he would be almost done. There's only 5 minutes left in the show, and he adds this big black line and starts painting in a tree. And his thought was, that it helps give perspective, and it's so true. Like just adding that dark tree-like figure totally gave this perspective. My scissors got caught on my bracelet. That's what I was showing you there. I got all caught up. All right, so I cut my girl and my leaves apart. And now I am knocking back those white lines. I doubled up my sentiment up there, which says blessed, and it's cut out of gold cardstock. Gluing down my leaves, I'm going to pop up my girl. And then, do you see all those little pieces of gold paper that's normally the trash? It's the things that were cut between the letters. I kept them because they were kind of leaf shaped. And I glued them down all around her. And my thought was like blessings are just she's being showered with blessings. That's what I was thinking and going for there. I just love the way this card turned out. It makes me smile. I did grab this beautiful cardstock from my stash. I found this random bag of cardstock with like 3 or 4 pieces of ephemera. I have no idea where it came from, but it's gorgeous. And that's what this came from. So that card was done. All right, I wasn't going to give up on this card. So I got these thickers out, and I was thinking maybe I'll use one of those. That really wasn't working for me. So I went back to these Maggie Home ones that you might have seen me use in my fried green tomatoes video that I did. And I really like this one. Ooh, I think it's so cool. So I'm going to pop that up as well. And now I'm measuring this out. So I knew I wanted a 5x7, and luckily it just worked out. So I'm going to trim it up to fit on my card fronts. I want to give you a tip. Well, I'll get there. But since I had the thickers out, they had these really pretty gold and black hearts. And they have sentiments on them. I believe they're Maggie Home thickers as well. I really like thickers that have like sentiments and images. I'm not really a big fan of the alphas. I'll use them, but they're not my favorite. But this is what I was going to tell you. When you're using book pages or old book pages, be careful when you're putting your glue down. Only because it can tear depending on how brittle the paper was. So I always go lightly and slowly. Okay, so this card, I am using the new Lawn Fawn. I thought this was just so much fun. I really like these huge sentiments that they're doing. I have one of the birthday ones. I went ahead and got 2 of the thanks because I need to send more thank you cards. So that was that one. It went by in a flash. I sped this video up, you guys, so you wouldn't be here all day. I can't keep up. Anyways, this is my second thanks so much card, and I decided to bring in some of the ephemera, and I really like that as well. Now this one, this was Dr. Shrub's favorite. He loved this card. So I really like it too. I even like it more after I went back and started editing the video. It's just striking, and it's so simple. I just did the most simple background, and I'm adding ephemera. So, if you choose, if you have some acrylic paint, gouache paint, and you decide, hey, I'm going to play with that, just have fun, because you can turn it into something. Just keep an open mind and have some fun, and you may just love the results. So I just took that large Lawn Fawn sentiment and cut out the thanks, ink blended on it to change the color from brown to this purple brown. And now I have a sentiment. I do love this card. This is going on a 5x7 card base. It's got a really large top and bottom margin, but it doesn't bother me. So here are my 5 cards. They're so unique and different, but I really, really like them. And that's more than 5. That's 6 cards. I showed you how I made 5 of them. One of them I made off camera because I was just like, this is going to take forever. So this is the girl being showered with blessings. And it just makes me happy. I'm so happy to be getting, back into painting, and to incorporate it into my card making is even better. I'm adding a few specks of white in her eyes to make her glisten. And here I did the inside of each card, but not on camera. Again, trying to respect y'all's time. And these are so fun. Of course, if you don't want to paint, I understand. You could do this same kind of card design with patterned paper. I mean, really, it's simple stuff. I'm just using ephemera or a die cut. When you're painting, it adds so much that you don't have to do a whole lot. I love the hearts, and then it says hello on the outside and darling on the inside. I did go ahead and use some of the paint on my palette and painted up this panel and just glued or stuck one of the flowers to it. Here's one I did off camera. This one's really funky. I'm not gonna lie, it's really different, but I don't hate it. So that's what this one looks like. I just randomly added teacups and it's just wild. And then this one, Dr. Shrub's favorite. Ah, so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you feel inspired. That's always my goal. And thank you for spending your time with me. Yay, it's Friday, TGIF. And I just love you guys. And thanks for being with me on this creative journey. All right, see you next time. Bye.